So what's interesting is in the pre-COVID world, it was which coffee places do I need to go? Where the meetups need to be? Where's the common eating places to be at? Where's the bars that you would hang out? Silicon Valley, the wagon wheel was the kind of the place that people would go in. So that was the interesting thing. But now it's like, okay, who's hosting what online events that I can go and be a part of? Just if I find that, those are the big things.
I guess like more of a social question, since you're very relationship based. Do you think there's been a disconnect over this time period with not being able to quite see everyone in person at co-working spaces or at coffee shops? Some are open and some are socially distanced, but have you noticed anything personally, whether that's been a plus with Zoom conferences or a negative with not having that natural human interaction?
Yeah, I think this is probably the most fascinating aspect of the past year. The fact that we had all these technologies at our hands and we weren't using them to the degree that we are now. Mm-hmm. It would have been odd for you to say, "Can we schedule a video conference?" And I want to do a podcast. I mean, it wouldn't have been weird. It would just been, well, most people would have said, "I want to fly in, want to do this in person," right? But we don't have that ability. Mm-hmm. So until we get the vaccine to the point we need to, until we can get COVID under control in the United States, I think we won't, until we get back into, okay, what flow can we have? The perniciousness of COVID is the fact that it is at our core. We are social through and through, as I said earlier. We want to be together. We get energy off of each other. And we're always thinking of people, even when we're by ourselves, we're thinking of people. We just think of people. So I think that the advantages, the upsides and downsides is interesting. I think certainly we don't know the emotional and mental wear and tear and cost. It's certainly, there's depression and anxiety that's off the roof, and that it's always been there, but it's even more so now. And I have a different perspective. What did I do for the pandemic? I went and shot a documentary traveling across 14 states and interviewed 36 different people around how COVID was disrupting them, right? So I got to see it through their eyes. I've been on the road to Atlanta a couple times and seen some people. So I've had my travel. I've had an epic road trip or two this year. So but I do know people who have been traveling 100 days of the year who haven't done any traveling yet, right? So what's that going to do? Short and sweet answer here for you is the fact that this has allowed for us to get more people to adopt technologies that takes away the reliance on time, synchronicity, and physical proximity. Mm-hmm. How many people we know this year hosted a Thanksgiving or Christmas or Hanukkah gathering on Zoom versus how many did that last year? Right? That's a huge, and now all of a sudden we can use video conferencing. I think we got to understand, as a Art of the Gathering book, Priya Patel had a great interview with Brene Brown around this, of how utilization. Zoom is not the host. Zoom is a contextless space. You, Caitlin, are the host, and you can bring this together. Creative use of chat rooms is great. Creative uses of breakout rooms is great. But what we have to understand is this Zoom experience has allowed for us to reach people that wouldn't have been part of conversations. How many people watched their grandchild's performance this year because it was live streamed? Isn't that awesome? But at the same time, we haven't had the chance to celebrate funerals of people and births, and there's all that heartbreak. But I think we don't know where all this is going to fall out. I think there is a cost. There's a huge benefit, because I think going forward, it's going to be a hybrid of where are the advantages of digital and what's the advantage of in real life. A very practical thing for you is that NMotion, we have just invested $500,000 into 5 founding teams, and I never met any of them in person. We had 165 applicants. We did 3 rounds of interviews via Zoom, a 20-minute interview, a 45-minute interview, and then if you made it to the final, 30-minute interview. So that's not a lot of time to spend with people. We didn't have the benefit of having them fly in, get to know them over dinner. So we're having to learn how to build trust and discern via a video 2D screen in ways that we normally would rely on 3D in person. So to make a $500,000 investment over 3 Zoom calls blows my mind. right? It just blows my mind that we did that. And now we're building and working 100% in the virtual environment with them. I just came back from Atlanta via Austin via Kansas City because 3 of our 5 founders are located there. That's the other thing. We are able to conduct this program. We did not force it in person. The expectation is them to move to Lincoln and build company here and have company structure here. But now it's allowed for us to realize, hey, maybe we could take the networked approach. And companies don't locate in the same place anymore. They're spread out. So I think this is really opening a lot of opportunity to experiment and push through and really utilize technology differently. But I think to your question around social interaction and people and how this is going to change and how it's impacted, I couldn't have told you that I was going to celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas on Zoom, and that I was going to conduct business on Zoom, and that it actually works. You can do that, right? It's pretty amazing. And it goes back to the 3 levers I was talking about when you build community. The density comes through your physical spaces that you occupy, the media that this Zoom call is a media, right? So is that, and it's events. So getting people on in-person events, now digital events. It's those are the 3 things, and those are, you put the core of your family experiences. Those are how you do it. I mean, how many people have group text messages and Facebook groups and other ways of communicating together as a family? It's been interesting to see that acceleration because of COVID.